call to the booth. Is the worst team in the AFC North the best team in the AFC North? We got our best bets. Paul, drop that beat.
Harrison Sanford, Aqib Talib. Usually we wait for Paul Aspen, our producer, to jump in, but I don't really want to be affiliated with the beginning of this show, to be honest with you guys. We're going to discuss what's going on in our fantasy football leagues. I know a lot of you guys are still processing what's going on in yours, trying to make the playoffs. Unfortunately, I don't think I have a good chance. Paul, tell us what we got before we get into the actual show, please.
So let's start off by saying Aqib and I have nothing to worry about. We're both in first place. We're both heading to the playoffs. But there's a lot of drama to unpack. Harrison, I'm pretty sure you're out. You're 6-7. There's 3 teams at 7-6 that all have more points than you.
What is Thomas doing?
So Thomas is in as well.
Okay, Thomas, okay.
All but in. He's like, even if he loses,
he need a little help.
No, he'd have to get lapped by someone. That looks pretty unlikely. So I'm not gonna put the asterisk next to his name, but I'll say pretty much in. So the 3 of us are in. We held up our end of the bargain. What you doing, Harrison? So
what it look like?
Chris Long in the mix. He's at 7-6. Q in the mix. He's at 7-6.
Okay, Walt's still in the mix. He done tapped. I need to tell him too, because really, I think he tapped out mentally. He thought he was out the mix, but I need to let him know that. You know what I'm saying?
We'll come back.
He beat me last week.
Yeah, so we'll come back to Q in a minute because I got an interesting thought there. Claudia is 7-6, and she actually has the most points in the league, but she's just been tough schedule. So I actually face Q this week. Yeah. I'm not above taking a dive, if the money's right. I'm not above taking a dive.
Hey, I'm gonna let him know that I'm gonna pass that message on like now, Paul. I'm gonna call him in here. I gotta call him in here right there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Tell him, you know what I'm saying? If the money right, if the paper right, I'll take a dive, baby.
Yeah. Take a bye week, get rest up for the playoffs, you know?
You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing wrong with that. Make a couple dollars while you doing it.
Yeah. So it's gonna be a wild week at the end. Playoffs start next week.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I'm ready.
Speaking of making a couple of dollars, we're going to get to our best bets in the next segment and tell you how Key picked up this week with a bunch of teasers and how one other person on this show didn't do so well. But nonetheless, before we even get to all that, we might as well talk about the football on the field. And we kick it off with the power rankings for Week 14. Can't believe we're almost there. Week 14. Aqib, what you got for the power rankings?
Yeah, the season is definitely flying right now. But the power rankings, not much movement in the power rankings, man. Top 4 teams got wins. I switched the Cardinals and the Chiefs just because the Cardinals, when they get Hop and they get Kyler back, man, they just look so dominant, man. So I switched places. They went to 3rd. Chiefs go to 4th. Ravens take an L. Packers slide up in the top 5. So we got Patriots, Bucks, Cardinals, Chiefs, Packers.
Yeah, so the one thing that I didn't want to talk about, the Ravens were in that top 5 and now knocked out. They had that loss this past week to the Pittsburgh Steelers and Big Ben, who might be playing some of his last games as a starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But the bigger issue when it comes to the Baltimore Ravens, Lamar Jackson hasn't looked good over the past 2 weeks, but who really hasn't looked good or won't look too good, we anticipate, is the secondary. Marlon Humphrey, done for the season apparently with a shoulder injury, with a right pectoral muscle tear.
Yeah.
How do you think the Ravens fare out now without him? Because they already lost Marcus Peters when they started the season. So now they're down to Jimmy Smith, Anthony Averett, and Tavon Young. What do you think happens with the Ravens now on the defensive side of the ball?
Well, like you said, man, when you fortunate enough to have 2 number 1 corners, when you lose one of those number 1 corners, you miss a little bit, but you don't miss as much. You still got a number 1 corner, you got a number 2 corner, you got a number 3 corner, right? I think you could fare. You could make it through with that type of injury. But now you lose your other number 1 corner. Man, it's hard to win football games. It's hard to win championships, should I say, without your number 1 corner, man. So I think it's definitely going to play a major part. They still may be able to compete in the North, maybe go wild card, maybe still win a division. But once those games really get down to it, man, once those games turn to Patriots and Chiefs and Bills and them real critical games, you're going to need that number 1 corner, man. So I think they definitely going to miss them big time.
Yeah, you have a matchup with the Packers late in the season as well, and that could have a very big impact on what happens with them going forward. Big time loss for them. Big Ben, let's talk about it. Could be his last year. Some reports are coming out that it could be his last year here with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So we talked about the injury with the Ravens. We saw the Bengals just lose this week. They do have a tie instead of a loss on their record. What are their playoff chances at 6-5-1? Their schedule: Minnesota, Tennessee Titans, Kansas City Chiefs, Cleveland Browns, Baltimore Ravens. How do you think they fare out? So they're 6-5-1, right? So they're 6-5-1. So matter of fact, let's just do this. 6-5-1 at Minnesota, win or loss?
Win.
7-5-1 at home versus Tennessee, who probably still without AJ Brown and Julio Jones.
But Tennessee
versus Tennessee,
I just like the makeup of their football team. They're a hard body team, but if they don't get at least one of those wide receivers back, it's gonna be hard. So I'm gonna say Pittsburgh again, win.
So 8-5-1 at Kansas City, assuming that's a loss.
L.
Okay, versus Cleveland at home.
L.
Okay, so that'd be 8-7-1, and then end the season at Baltimore out of all the places. How do you think that one fares out?
L. That's the last one. 3 in a row. No playoffs for them Steelers.
8-1 prediction there for the Steelers. One interesting thing that we did see this past weekend in the second half, the team went heavy on the shotgun and the pistol
they did.
Pistol formation. So maybe a lot less Najee Harris and more emphasis on Deontay Johnson and Chase Claypool in the passing game as they try to get back into the playoff chase. Before we get out of here and get to our second segment with our best bets, give us your no-fly zone power rankings, please.
No-fly zone. Not much movement in the no-fly zone rankings either. Patriots won. They ain't have to do much. I mean, the win helped them out. They had a huge win factor in their game that played like a 12th man. Helped them out, man. The Chiefs look good, man. Them corners, the Chiefs, when they got their starting corners, man, they look great. So they still at number 2. The Cardinals got their hands on a bunch of footballs in that bad weather. Xavier Howard got another interception. That's 2 weeks in a row for him with the Dolphins. And I don't like dropping teams out on bye weeks, but I had to drop the Browns out because them Cowboys got 4 interceptions, man. They got that thing back hot. Cowboys give up passing yards, but they get more interceptions than anybody, man. So they back in the no-fly zone. So Patriots, Chiefs, Cardinals, Dolphins, Cowboys.
Cowboys definitely a team of playmakers on the defensive side of the ball and on the offensive side of the ball, can really turn the game around. Want to talk about those Cardinals who will be on Monday night. And speaking of Monday night, we know you were on the Manningcast this past Monday. So next Monday, we get the Rams versus the Cardinals. We'll talk about your discussion with Peyton Manning and Eli on our Broncos show, which will be coming out on Thursday on our podcast feed. But Cardinals, Rams, probably the best game on the schedule for Week 14. Rams are a 3-point underdog at Arizona. We saw what happened the first game. Kyler Murray absolutely frustrated the Rams defense, getting out of the pocket, extending plays, and the Cardinals won that one pretty handily. How do you think this one fares out? Rams +3 at the Cardinals, Monday Night Football, Week 14.
This is a tough game right here, but I like how the Rams got back to the basics. This weekend. They came out in big man formations. They run the ball. They put an emphasis on running the ball. They came out with a 100-yard day for Sonny Michel. But it's a tough division, man. Usually these guys split. 2 good teams, y'all split. So I'm going to ride with the split, man. I like the Rams on the road in this one. That'll be the Cardinals' last loss of the season. Then they're going to take that win streak right on to the playoffs.
Last loss of the regular season.
Last loss of the regular season.
Okay. All right. All right, so boom, you got that from Aqib. That's a little bit of a taste of what we do for our best bets. And when we come back in our next segment, that's what we'll do. All of our best bets for Week 14 between myself, Aqib, Paul. Let's do it. We'll be right back. Back with more Call to the Booth. Time to put some money in your pocket for Week 14 with our best bet segments. Paul, can you jump in, please, and give us a rundown of what happened last week, please?
What did happen last week?
I'm almost tempted to take them lane 7 as well. So the under 47 and lane 7 against the Detroit Lions team, who's also going to be without DeAndre Swift. There is no way I see the Detroit Lions, this game going over 47, and there's no way I could see Detroit Lions even coming close in this matchup. Minnesota trying to get into the playoffs. I like them under 47.
You see my face. You could see my face. I knew it was over
That's
then.
That's a good producer right there. I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready for that. You had to put me on Front Street though.
Yeah, because you killed my bet. Yes, I absolutely did.
I tried to keep the straight face while he was saying that shit. I was this close to riding with you, Harrison. I promise I was.
Yeah, so that's what happened last week. But Aqib did hit another teaser. He had a bunch of teasers. Let him get into that in a second. The best bet, Bears, Broncos, that came home. And then I hit a bunch of my Arizona teasers. The one I mentioned on the show is the best bet. Arizona and Minnesota did not hit. Thanks, Harrison. But Aqib, what other teasers, what else did you have going on last weekend?
I did. I hit my best bet, right? You just said that?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, yeah, I did. So I did hit my best bet. Okay, so last week, I had I also rolled with, I put this teaser in. I had the Chiefs -4. I had the Bucks -5. And I had the Cardinals -1.5. That was a 3-team teaser that I hit. Then I took all that beautiful cash and I put that on the Patriots +9, under 45.5. That 2-pick teaser. And I had a great weekend, Paul. You know what I'm saying? Nice tornado in Buffalo. Picked up them bands, baby. Let's go. Great weekend, Paul. Paul, you had a great weekend too, though. So tell us about it.
Yeah, I had a pretty good one. I told you guys I was going to key the Cardinals into a bunch of different teasers. I sent you 4 of them, I think, on Saturday, Friday.
Yep.
So I hit 3 of the 4. Minnesota was one that didn't come home. So all in all, really good weekend. I will say every favorite of 7.5 or more came home last week. Everyone covered. So I'd say just be careful out there a little bit this week.
Right, some blowouts.
Yeah.
Yeah, gotta watch out for what happens in week 14 for sure. All right, let's go into what we got for this upcoming week. Paul, before you give us your big theme, your big theory one, why don't you give us what you got for week 14? Your best bet.
Okay, so this one's a little bit involved. It's a teaser. It's a simple 2-team teaser, but it involves a lot of things I got going on. So I have the Ravens. I placed it 3 weeks ago. Season win total under 10.5. They're at 8. So that was at +160. So it's plus money. So I need them to lose this week against the Browns. And they were 2.5-point underdogs. I also have the Bengals to win the AFC North at 10-1. They are 1-point favorites against the San Francisco 49ers. So what we're doing is we're taking all that and we're trying to play all sides. So we're teasing we're teasing the Ravens up from 2.5 to 8.5, hoping they lose still. And we're teasing the Niners up from 1 to 7, hoping we want the Bengals to win. So it's a lot. It's like I want a lot of things to go right for the Bengals to take. If the Bengals win, the Ravens lose just by itself, Bengals have the driver's seat in the AFC North. Mm-hmm. But trying to play both sides. So teasing Niners up to +7, Ravens up to +8.5.
What a tangled web we weave.
I've pretzeled myself pretty good, yeah.
I'm gonna go teaser too. I'm gonna start it on Thursday night. And I'm gonna go with the dog on Thursday night. I'm going Steelers +9. So let's go Steelers on the road +9 on Thursday, and let's put that with the Raiders in Kansas City plus what's that's gonna come out to 15.5. So I like the Raiders plus 15.5, and I like the Steelers plus 9.5. The Raiders just because that's a division game, man. They know each other. Those games are always tight. Derek Carr always finds some juice in Kansas City. I don't care who playing. I don't care who hurt. He gonna find some juice in Kansas City and make that game close, man. Because that's a division game. He always do. And the Steelers, they're not gonna go lose to 9. They're not going to go lose by 9 to the Vikings. No Thielen probably, no Cook, no Thielen. I think the Steelers will be okay. And the Dogs been going crazy on Thursday nights, man. Primetime period, but mainly Thursday night. So I'm riding with them Steelers plus them points.
Yep, we saw what happened on primetime recently with the Denver Broncos and the Kansas City Chiefs. I think that under hit, and it could have been a more competitive game, but it was relatively competitive this past week. I'm going to roll and this is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to roll.
Don't kill our bets, Harrison. Don't kill our bets.
No. I'm not touching it. I'm not touching it. If there's one thing I've been very good at this year, I think at least, has been hitting the under. So I'm attacking the under again.
Just not last week.
Just not last week. Just not last week.
But you got to lose
and it shouldn't have been that
way.
way. Yeah. Shouldn't have been that way. If Anthony Barr was there, maybe TJ Hawkinson doesn't come in and help them stretch the field and get down the field for the Lions. I don't want to relive the nightmare.
So, real quick, I'm curious. There's a lot of low numbers this week, so I'm curious.
So, here we go. I am going to go with the 44 over-under between the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Tennessee Titans. I
Under
see
44?
a lot of there's a level of distrust between Urban Meyer and James Robinson. He had a fumble in the first possession of the game for against the Los Angeles Rams this past weekend in LA. Urban Meyer sat him until the end of the first half, and then he weirdly played him for the last series when they were down two or three possessions. Made no sense. Even Urban Meyer admitted it during a press conference on Monday that it didn't make too much sense. And then if you look at the Tennessee Titans side of the ball, Julio Jones hurt, A.J. Brown hurt, Mike Vrabel, defensive first head coach. Jaguars, pretty not too bad of a defensive team actually as well. We saw what they did to the Buffalo Bills earlier this season. 44 over under, and then on top of that too, and as we've been talking about, as we've seen a trend here, we have seen teams coming off the bye look a bit sluggish. Would not be surprised. Titans coming off the bye looking sluggish, feeling that they might already have this win in tow because it's the Jacksonville Jaguars. 44 over under. That is what I'm going with the under. That is what I have for now. And that's and I'm not forcing anything else. I'm sticking with it.
I like it. I like the under. I ain't gonna lie. I like the under.
Yeah. I don't have a problem with it. Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. Yeah.
Thank you. All right, Paul, you got any long shot, anything else that we should look into, or are we going to get out of here and get to our Broncos show?
I think we can get to our Broncos show. I still like where Tyreek is at with his 10-1, 12-1 to lead the NFL. It's still there because Kupp got in the end zone for one, but Evans did not. Thielen's banged up now.
Evans banged up.
So,
and
but
Tyreek kind of been at that stagnant. It's almost time for him to trend up again. So I like that bet too.
Yeah. So nothing.
Bet looking good.
Nothing else crazy, though, this week. I'll take a week off.
There you go. All right. That's it for our best bet segment. That's it for our Wednesday show. Got your power rankings, got your best bets, got your insight to the AFC North. We'll see how it trickles down in Week 14. Come back tomorrow. We'll break down the Broncos big time. Well, wouldn't call it big time because it's against the Detroit Lions, but they need a win regardless. Call to the booth. Aqib Talib, Harrison Sanford. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll see you then.